From downtown Bakersfield, 23 ABC News at 11 starts now.
Good evening. New details have been released in a false imprisonment and battery case involving a man who allegedly posed as a rideshare driver. Documents obtained by 23 ABC details multiple incidents where the victims say they believed he was their driver. Quote, "Calm down, you're fine, you're drunk." Those were the words repeated to one woman as she screamed for help, according to court documents. The woman told police she thought she had done the responsible thing the night of May 6, 2019 by calling for an Uber to pick her up after a night of drinking. The app told her to expect a black vehicle, and when one approached, she asked, "Are you my Uber driver?" The driver said yes. Moments later, the woman's night out would become a nightmare. After taking an unexpected turn, the woman started to wonder where the driver was heading, court documents said. Moments later, the driver pulled into a dark area and parked. The woman screamed and fought to get out of the car. According to court documents, the doors seemed as if they were under child lock and she could not open them. Eventually, though, a door opened and the woman fell to her knees as the vehicle sped off. This account just one of many incidents recalled to police alleging a man posing as a rideshare driver attacked or stalked women. Court documents allege that man to be 48-year-old Nassef Regheb. Regheb was arrested earlier this month and is facing false imprisonment and battery charges. He was in court yesterday and is set to be back in court on April 20th. For more details on the other incidents that Regheb is accused of, be sure to head to our website, turn23.com. A man who last year was serving life in prison without the possibility of parole will soon be free after all charges against him, including murder, after they were dismissed this morning. An appellate court in December found there was insufficient evidence to support the guilty verdict a jury reached in the 2017 trial of Jose Medrano. The case against 25-year-old Medrano was built mostly around the testimony of a co-defendant who said he would lie in order to avoid life in prison. He testified against Medrano in exchange for a 9-year prison term. The 5th District Court of Appeals said Medrano cannot be retried under the double jeopardy clause and ordered an acquittal on each of the 4 charges against him. Medrano and 25-year-old Pete Santiago were each charged with murder and other crimes in the killing of Orlando Morales, which happened on August 24, 2016. 34-year-old Morales was found dead from a gunshot wound inside a vehicle that had left the roadway and overturned at 11th Avenue and Glenwood Street in Delano. Nearly 40 people were arrested overnight following a Bakersfield police operation conducted to help catch violating curfew at local parks. According to police officials, the BPD, code enforcement, and the rapid response team conducted the operation focused on park curfew and trespassing in buildings marked as uninhabitable. The operation began at 3 a.m. today and ended at about 10:30 a.m. The park curfew violations were focused at Patriots Park, Saunders Park, Jastrow Park, and Lowell Park. During the operation, 23 people were arrested for open charges, including illegal narcotics possession, restraining order violations, and trespassing, among other charges. 15 additional people were arrested for outstanding arrest warrants. 8 dogs were taken to the animal shelter due to the arrest of their owners. The rapid response team assisted with cleanup at the parks, as well as with the seizure of personal property left behind at the parks for safekeeping. Now to the political fisticuffs that came out fast and furious during tonight's Democratic debate on CBS News. 7 Democrats took the stage in South Carolina in the most heated debate so far. The frontrunner, Senator Bernie Sanders, took hits from all sides, but candidates were far more willing to attack any and all of their opponents. ABC's Trevor Alt has the breakdown.
With his newfound status at the top of the Democratic field, Senator Bernie Sanders walked into a hornet's nest at Tuesday's CBS News debate.
Vladimir Putin thinks that Donald Trump should be president of the United States, and that's why Russia is helping you get elected, so you'll lose to him.
Bernie and I both want to see universal health care, but Bernie's plan doesn't explain how to get there, doesn't show how we're going to get enough allies into it, and doesn't show enough about how we're going to pay for it.
If you think the last 4 years has been chaotic, divisive, toxic, exhausting, imagine spending the better part of 2020 with Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump.
I'm hearing my name mentioned a little bit tonight. I will tell you, Pete, what the American people want, and Joe, what the American people want. They don't want candidates to be running to billionaires for huge amounts of funding.
But Sanders wasn't the only candidate targeted. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg again in the crosshairs of Senator Elizabeth Warren.
At least I didn't have a boss who said to me, "Kill it. the way that Mayor Bloomberg
never
is alleged
said
to
that.
have said to one of his pregnant employees.
The heated discourse frequently boiling over in a way not seen in previous debates, the candidates often fighting to speak over one another.
If we spend the next 4 months tearing our party apart, we're going to watch Donald Trump spend the next 4 years tearing our country apart.
And ahead of South Carolina's primary, former Vice President Joe Biden holding on to the top spot in state polls and promising,
if you don't win South Carolina, will you continue in this race?
I will win South Carolina.
And this debate was particularly important, not only because it's the last one before South Carolina's primary on Saturday, it's also the last one before Super Tuesday, with more than 30% of the delegates up for grabs. Trevor Ault, ABC News, New York.
And 23 ABC wants to help you make an informed decision on Super Tuesday, which is next week, and when California voters go to the polls. We have information on local measures, national and local candidates, along with propositions on our website right now at turnto23.com.
And we have been feeling a relatively warm evening, 57 degrees right now here in Bakersfield. So that is up from this time yesterday. But due to the clear skies, we are going to be dropping 10 degrees by the time the sun rises tomorrow. An overnight low of 47 in Bakersfield, 40 in Lake Isabella, and 37 in Tehachapi. But dry conditions are going to be the story for the rest of the work week and actually for the rest of February. So according to the National Weather Service, they are saying that Bakersfield is on pace to tie for the second driest February on record. That would tie with February of 1916. So far this month, we have only received 1/100th of an inch of rain, and that was actually on this past Saturday. But you can expect warming temperatures for the rest of the week, and Friday could actually be the warmest day of the year so far, and we could be tying a heat record. I have more details on just how warm we will be getting coming up next.
We want to turn now to the fiscal crisis happening in the city of Arvin. After mid-year budget reviews, Arvin is $40,000 in deficit. The Arvin City Council discussing the issue during their meeting tonight. The city is projected to be up to $100,000 in a deficit by the end of the fiscal year in July. $100,000 is about 1% of the city's budget. This year, the city tried changing to a less expensive health insurance plan for its workers, which would have saved $90,000. However, the union shot that idea down. Then the city tried to ask the unions for a one-time $60,000 concession. The unions also refused. As a result, Arvin is now down $40,000 in legal fees for these union negotiations. And now, because the cheaper health care was denied, the cost of the current health care plan is going up by 8%. We'll continue to follow the latest on this story and bring you any updates right here and online at turnto23.com. We want to turn to the new warning from the CDC about the coronavirus, that the spread here at home is not a question of if, but when, and saying Americans should prepare for disruptions that could be severe. ABC's Steve Osunsomny has more on President Trump, saying he thinks it's going to work out fine.
U.S. health authorities tonight say there's no doubt we'll see more of this. Americans sick with the coronavirus who need to be kept in isolation.
The doors are specially sealed.
Carl Goldman is one of 57 Americans fighting the disease.
We are asking the American public to work with us to prepare in the expectation that this could be bad.
In their most clear warning yet, the CDC all but promises that the coronavirus will spread here and that Americans need to prepare.
We expect we will see community spread in this country. It's not so much a question of if this will happen anymore, but rather more a question of exactly when this will happen and how many people in this country will have severe illness. We really want to prepare the American public for the possibility that their lives will be disrupted because of this pandemic.
At a 3M factory in South Dakota where they make masks and respirators that help protect from the disease, they're working 24/7 and still can't produce them fast enough.
We're told by the experts at NIH, CDC, that there is a very strong chance of an extremely serious outbreak of the coronavirus here in the United States.
In a hearing in Washington today, the government shared that it could need about 300 million respirators to be used by healthcare workers, but only has about 30 million on hand. That didn't go over well.
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
Homeland Security, do we have enough respirators or not?
What has authorities alarmed are the clusters of outbreaks happening outside of Asia that are not directly connected to Asia. On the Canary Islands off the eastern coast of Africa, more than 1,000 tourists are trapped in a hotel because an Italian guest came down with the virus. In Italy, more than 322 confirmed cases, with 10 people dead, and they haven't even found the source of the outbreak. In Iran, at least 15 people were killed by the virus and nearly 100 are sick, including this health minister, who yesterday was on camera downplaying the danger as he's seen coughing and wiping his brow. Today he learned he too has the coronavirus. The Trump administration today was trying to bring calm to both the panic and the economic markets. Stocks are down today again.
We have contained this, I won't say airtight, but pretty close to airtight.
The president says they're throwing everything at this.
Very well under control in our country. We have very few people with it. The people are getting better. They're all getting better.
They're hoping the virus dies out with warm weather. A vaccine is still at least several months away. In response to the outbreak in Italy, Syracuse University in New York is suspending its study abroad program. That affects some 342 students who now have to be brought back home. There is currently no travel restriction from the United States on travel to Italy because of the coronavirus. Steve Osunsami, ABC News, Atlanta.